Hi, this is Reverend Cindy Fuller, and this is your spiritual story number 4. I hope you've been enjoying them. This is another Scotland story, and it's probably one of my favorites, and it's small. So, as you know, Kristen and I went to Scotland to do some spiritual work in August this past year, 2019. We had most of our hotels scheduled, except for a couple of nights, because we wanted to be free to stay wherever we were guided to stay. Well, our trip got turned on its head from the beginning. And then we hit one of those nights, and we did not realize that in August, the entire country is on vacation, and there are no rooms anywhere. Anywhere. August, we'd go hotel, B&B, B&B. We're booked. Okay. So one day, we had been through that difficult driving experience, and we had left the hotel we had previously booked before we left. We were trying to make our way back to the East Coast. We were in the Argyll region, driving in those mountains, the twists and turns, and it was just exhausting. It was exhausting. So we went through this tiny little town, and I said, we've just got to find something here. It was big enough. There were B&Bs and hotels and stuff, but it was small. And we're driving around, no vacancy, and I see a B&B that said vacancy. Of course, I turned around and went right back up this steep hill to this old house. As I pulled in front, Kristen and I looked at each other. It was haunted. There was no doubt it was haunted. And I looked at her and I said, we got to go. There's no other place. I am exhausted. I cannot drive anymore. I'm exhausted. So we got out of the car. We knocked on the door, and an older gentleman met us. And it was very strange. He invited us in. Of course, his wife wasn't there. She was somewhere, not at home. She'd had surgery or something. I don't know. He took us upstairs, and he showed us the room, and the room looked nice. It was okay. It would have been perfect. And we came downstairs, and he said, well, I need cash pounds. And we were out of cash. And it's like, don't you take credit cards? He said, no, I need cash. And he said, you need to go get cash. So we're like, oh my God, we're desperate. We're in a haunted house. We need to go get cash. And then he said, and if you can't find cash, I will work something out with you. And both of us went, no, that doesn't feel right. So we got in the car to go find cash. So I drove to the inn that was right around the corner down by the main drag. And we pulled in because we thought that's where he had directed us. And we went into the desk. And first asked, do you have a room? No, we don't have a room. We're booked solid. Okay. And the manager was walking by as we were talking to the young girl at the front. And we said, well, can we draw cash off of our charge card? Or can you exchange U.S. currency for pounds sterling? And they said, no, we don't do that. And I said, well, the man up on the hill said you did. And the manager stopped and looked at me and said, who? And I said, the guy in the B&B is right behind you guys up on the hill. He sent us here to get cash. And he said you would exchange our U.S. currency for Scottish pounds sterling, or for pounds sterling. And he raised his eyebrow, and I said, you don't know that man? He's right around you. He said, no. And he said, and why did he send you? And what did he say? And then we told him what he said, that he had to have cash or he'd work something out or something. And his eyebrow just went up. And he went, oh, no. So he started calling around to try to find us a room. He had the girl call. And while they're doing that, I walked to the ladies' room. And I'm walking to the ladies' room, and there is a voice right by my head from a female ghost. And she said, do not go back there. And I said, okay, but I don't know what to do. I mean, where else are we going to go? And I went to the restroom and came back, and the manager was still looking. And he looked at the young lady that had been helping as well, who had had no luck. And he said, what did you do with a certain room? And she said, nothing. So he said, give me a minute. He went to this room. He came back, and he gave us this room. Have no idea how he had it, who it was for, who didn't show up. It was so tiny, so small. maybe a bus driver's room or something, and we loved it. It was perfect. So when we walked into the room, which had no amenities at all, we walked into the room, the female ghost was there. And the window of the room looked right into the window of the room we would have stayed in the B&B behind. It was like one of those horror movies where you want to shut the curtains really fast. Shut those curtains. And this ghost stayed with us that night. And I just said, please, 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 I don't care if this is your place, just let us sleep. Please just let us sleep. And she did. The next morning, I was putting my makeup on, and she was watching me. She's obviously from another time. And I said, you didn't wear makeup. Well, now you can come back. You can actually be reborn and put makeup on. As a girl, you can come back as a girl and put makeup on. And I said, heck, you can come back as a boy and put makeup on. She was shocked that I would say those things. And she said to me, would you please turn the TV on so I can watch it? I like the TV. And I said to her, I'll turn it on when we go down for breakfast. So we went down for breakfast, and I forgot to turn the TV on. So I kept running up the stairs immediately as I'm getting my coffee, turned the TV on. She laughed. I laughed. She was happy. I don't know if she crossed over. I did a prayer with her before I left and left a column of light so she could leave if she wanted to. She'd obviously been there for a really long time. But the miracle of this story was really the response of the manager to the energy that we could feel and understand. He also felt it. Even though it may not have hit his conscious mind, but he felt that it would not have been good for us to go back there. And he was going to move mountains to help us. So I've sent him so many gratitudes in the ethers, and perhaps our little girl actually helped find that room for us. I don't know. But it was a highlight of our Scottish trip to have a good night's sleep in the middle of all the chaos. So when you're traveling and you run into ghosts, cooperate with them. That's their home. Yay, God!